This video is on increasing the food supply. Okay, there's certain species out there, like say, for example, sharks. And so the fish that they eat, probably a good amount of the fish that they eat, and this goes for different species of sharks as well, to different degrees, eat the same fish that we humans eat. So what I say is to get rid of all the sharks that would eat the same fish that we eat, so that there can be more fish for us to harvest from the ocean. So we're going to get rid of those guys. But you say, oh, what about what the purpose of the sharks is? They clean up the oceans and things like that. So for that question, well, we'll just use technology. We've got technology now that can perform the cleaning function of the oceans to do the same thing that the sharks would do. So there, that takes care of that rebuttal, or that complaint about getting rid of sharks. But then you got the fish huggers who want us to leave species alone in their own habitats. The only problem is those habitats that you guys are worried about are part of a larger habitat. You got fish here, or whatever sharks fall into a category, are part of a larger habitat, the human habitat. And just like you say, well, don't blame sharks for attacking people because they're just doing what they naturally do. Well, if we humans hunt a certain species right here, like sharks, to extinction, we're just doing what we naturally do in our habitat, which, by the way, includes the whole world. So why are you limiting our species to serve some other species that's lesser than us? We are the top of the food chain. So anyway, I say we get rid of things like, sharks. I would say get rid of unnecessary species. Like, I don't see any reason for, like, sorry, I'm just getting lazy because I'm trying to talk and write at the same time. I can't write that down, so I'm not going to bother. Unnecessary species. Like, I don't think we have any real reason for, like, hippos. I don't see what their purpose is other than they're just humongous, and we look at them for a few seconds and say, oh, cool, look at that animal. Keep them in zoos. And if you want to keep sharks around, keep them in places like, fish zoos or zoological arenas. I don't know. Set up places where you can keep them from going extinct, but don't try to keep them from going extinct out in the oceans. But just say, well, what about again the purpose they serve? We can take technology, put it out there, and perform the same function of cleaning up the ocean. Then after so long of these little devices going out there, kind of like the Roombas that clean the house for you, that they vacuum and then they stop when they're done. Well, you can have little technologies going out there, like little miniature submarines in the shape of a shark that will perform the same function. They'll look for like maybe metal objects in the ocean or whatever like that, because the sharks clean up the ocean. Whatever it is that sharks do, you can use technology to supplement that, take that function. So anyway, and another thing is animals, other animals, species on the earth that would eat the same foods that we would eat. I say we get rid of them and only keep them alive in zoos. And then we'll have more food to eat for us. And in the future it's going to be necessary to do that, to feed a growing world population. And you guys, when it finally comes to the point where the fish and animal huggers and tree huggers say, well, you're encroaching on certain species, I say, you know what? There are species already, like condors, I guess. I think they're extinct, right? Supposed to know my stuff. Yes, they're extinct. Because we humans, it is our natural habitat to go out and hunt species to extinction. So leave us alone. We rule this earth. Let us do what we want. And things like the bald eagle. If we hunt the bald eagle to extinction, we hunt the bald eagle to extinction. You say, well, wait a second, they eat rodents, and rodents are bad. Well, what about just letting our kids go out and play with BB guns and shoot rodents? That's a sport. Well, there you go. You've solved it. Or we can have, a lot of people out there, the sharks. We want to get rid of the sharks? It won't even cost us a whole lot of money to do that, because fishermen are already ready to hunt sharks and get rid of them. So let them do it. And if something goes extinct, we can use technology, or we can make it into a sport for our kids, like in the case of, hunting cougars and things like that to extinction, because they really serve no other predatory species. Here's the thing. Other predatory species that hunt the same food we do, we're the top of the food chain. We should have that food for us, not some lesser predatory species. Let's just get rid of all those other freaking predators, our competition, and keep the food for our kids. Because when we don't, it's like flushing food down the toilet. Just letting these other predatory species eat them because some animal huggers want to keep those stupid species around. You want to keep them around? Fine. You put them in zoos and keep them alive. Keep their populations going. But out in this, quote, natural habitat, well, that's the natural habitat for cougars or whatever, or mountain lions. Hey, dude, they belong to a larger habitat that we own. It's our habitat, not theirs, okay? We have the final say, whether they live or die. End of story. You don't like it, tough crap.